Night Bites, brought to you by your instructional coaches. We hope everyone is having a great summer and that you have some time to take care of yourself. We're just reaching out to see if anyone is interested in a great mini-series. If you are, each week we'll be summarizing and highlighting important parts of Becoming a Learning Team by Stephanie Hirsch and Tracy Crow. As it states in the title, Becoming a Learning Team is a guide to building teacher-led cycles of continuous improvement that impact outcomes for all students. So why Becoming a Learning Team? It supports our district initiatives and it focuses on the power of intentional, collaborative, professional learning. It builds on Learning Forward's vision that every child should attend a learning school where they experience excellent teaching and learning every single day. For this to happen, research supports that professionals engage in a cycle of continuous improvement to increase student learning. The book is broken down into 3 parts. Today we're going to work on part 1, what does it mean to learn collaboratively? Chapter 1 is collaboration is at the heart of learning. The chapter starts out by talking about certain conditions of teaching and learning that hinder adult learning in some schools. There's a culture of isolation sometimes. Even with more and more schools making time for professional learning communities, many teachers still find themselves alone with their questions, their challenges, and even their triumphs. Isolation plays a role on teacher effectiveness then. Some evidence suggests that teachers plateau after just 4 years of teaching. So insufficient support leads to teacher turnover. Without interaction with colleagues, the willingness to stay in the classroom is just not there. But the greatest cost of teacher turnover is the impact on achievement of all students in a school. So what is the answer? Collaboration. Collaboration impacts job retention. It leads to new teacher success. Collaboration changes teaching practices. When teams solve problems together, they grow together. Collaboration reduces isolation due to constant communication. It builds expertise of all teachers. It increases effective implementation of standards, and the collective efficacy that comes out impacts all learners. So overall, though, teachers were surveyed and they were generally dissatisfied with their professional learning communities. Collaboration was falling short of being ideal. We just can't put people or educators in a room and say collaborate. So what does it take? Becoming a Learning Team suggests 7 factors for what it takes. There needs to be a vision and leadership. A shared vision of what and how students learn and performance expectations for both students and educators is critical. Time needs to be embedded throughout the work week. Teams have time to meet regularly and consistently. This time is protected and not used to address other priorities. Alignment and accountability. Schools and leaders align learning communities within and across schools, and there is an explicit vision and goal for successful learning communities. There needs to be clear team goals and learning protocols. Learning teams understand why they're meeting so that they can benefit from the collaboration. Facilitation support. Facilitators structure time, they develop norms, and develop agendas with learning teams. Collaboration skills. Each member of a learning team needs opportunities to understand, practice, and apply a range of communication and collaboration skills. So commitment to collective responsibility. When everyone on a learning team takes responsibility for every learner, whether adult or student, collective responsibility is the outcome. The ultimate goal of collaborative learning is better teaching, better student learning, better results for every learner in the school. Like we said, both adult and student. So that was chapter 1. Take time to reflect. Here's some questions we can summarize, and we're going to move on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, the learning team cycle promotes continuous learning. Chapter 2 gives us an overview of the 5 stages of Learning Forward's learning team cycle. Chapter 3 through 7 will go through a more detailed explanation of each of the stages, but here we're going to give you a brief overview of the 5 stages. Stage 1, analyze data. Teacher teams look at data to identify the most important student learning needs. Stage 2, set goals. After looking at data and identifying root causes for achievement gaps, teams set learning goals and plan for their own learning. In stage 3, learning individually and collaboratively, teacher teams dig into curriculum and standards to determine learning priorities and how to address them and apply new learning in their practices. Stage 4, implement new learning. Teachers implement new lessons and assessments with practice, reflection, and support from others. And stage 5, monitor, assess, and adjust practices. We monitor the new practices and the impact on student learning. Then teams use this information to make future decisions. Here's just one sample of a schedule. Becoming a Learning Team proposes 12-week learning cycles, but notes that we all have different circumstances where we work. But as teams become more experienced in using this cycle and schools have more inquiry-oriented approaches to thinking about things happening in their school, teams begin to develop a better sense of how schedules and cycles, how they can schedule them and even schedule multiple cycles that overlap. And another thing that happens is team members will naturally think more reflectively, and as they're going through the stages, they will start to incorporate elements of the other stages at the same time, just like the schedule shows here. Okay, so that was chapter 1 and chapter 2. Learning cycles. You can take some time to reflect. If you would like to have a copy of the book for yourself and you're interested in starting reading it, please reach out to Dr. Mum. Thanks for listening, and we hope all of you have a great summer. Thanks so much.